YouTube, Dailymotion, Facebook, and Tumblr fans. My name is Midnight Strike 3625, and let me just start this off by saying welcome to the final verses of 2013. Now, this has been a big year for me, big year for all of us, and when I started this series off in February, I did not expect to be doing these actual episodes so frequently, nor did I expect it to get such a large following or a large positive response as it has. So, that being said, it hasn't been a full year for Versus, but I will be sure to let you know when it has. Have a little bit of a celebration, per se, or a celebratory video on the matter. I'm actually preparing a shout-out video for end-of-year shout-outs, and maybe a little bit of New Year's resolution thrown in there, something along those lines. But for now, this is the second of 2 episodes that I'm posting this week for my Double Versus Holidays 2013. So this is actually going to be comparing 2 singers, both of whom performed with Slash, ex-Guns N' Roses guitarist, Axl Rose and Myles Kennedy. Now, Axl Rose actually toured and was in the band Guns N' Roses with Slash in their prime, and actually recorded the albums Appetite for Destruction, GN'R Lies, and the 2 Use Your Illusion albums, respectively. And they gained a large following because of Axl Rose's kind of badass image, as well as, you know, the band's basically most wanted band in the world, and most badass, most edgy band in the world, or at least for hard rock standards. So, they had a lot going for them, and like I said, Slash performing in your band is a definite plus. So, that being said, Axl Rose, with his just badass image, kind of paved the way for more metal bands, even, to follow suit. So, that being said, that hasn't even gotten into his vocal talent yet. He combines the perfect amount of grit when he actually reaches those really, really high notes on such songs as Sweet Child of Mine, Out to Get Me, and Rocket Queen, and even Welcome to the Jungle in the beginning. He just has a very unique set of pipes on him. That being said, with Myles Kennedy, he kind of produces the same amount of range, per se, but he doesn't really have the grit that Axl Rose does. That's really my only complaint about Myles Kennedy, is he doesn't have the grit. But then again, he's more of an alternative metal singer, and he's more into the realm of even heavy metal, and when we get into the AB3 and Fortress stuff and Alter Bridge's discography. But, you know, that's okay. They're 2 different genres, 2 different pieces of music, 2 different styles, even. He doesn't really need the grit. So, when you get into Axl Rose and Myles Kennedy both singing songs on Guns N' Roses' catalog, of course, you're going to have Axl Rose's now sounding like Mickey Mouse a little bit with that yellow trench coat. I don't know, he just doesn't have the greatest image, and he's not really a persona anymore. He doesn't really have that image about him, that just kind of badass, living on the edge image that he had back in the late 80s to early 90s, so he hasn't exactly aged gracefully. Neither has his persona, his attitude, and just kind of the charisma that he used to actually have about him. So, when it comes to the actual talent, though, I would definitely go with Myles Kennedy right now, even as Myles Kennedy is in his prime. Myles Kennedy is definitely, has been in his prime since the 90s, so it's just one of those things where his prime has lasted longer, he can reach those high notes, he makes every single song his own, even if it's not his own. He can twist it around and make it his own. Just listen to Back from Cali on Slash's solo debut, and even Apocalyptic Love, where he was so good that Slash actually chose Myles Kennedy to sing on that entire album. And I actually reviewed that album, and I actually quite dig it. It's actually a pretty decent listen, very reminiscent of 70s hard rock, and a little bit of 80s thrown in there, but not so much. And with Axl Rose, even in his prime, Live at the Ritz, 88, for me, that is Axl Rose at his best, his very best. Nothing can top that, whereas Axl Rose performances go, but even that ends up sounding very gritty and very contrived in nature, especially when compared to Myles Kennedy. So I'm going to have to give this one to Myles Kennedy. He even does the Guns N' Roses songs better, in my opinion. Maybe not better than the studio versions, but he does them better live. He can sound exactly as he does in the studio live, Myles Kennedy's case. So For me, it's Myles Kennedy, but I want to know your guys' opinion. What do you think? This is Midnight Strike 3625. Thank you very much for watching. Keep calm and rock on.